Hey everybody, it's Chip Harris, Hillcrest Realty Group in North Carolina. Just wanted to get back with you. It's been a long time since I've created a video for you. And so many things are going on in the real estate industry right now. I just felt it important to get back online and talk to you a little bit about that if you're listening. First of all, if you are listening, I appreciate that. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. If it adds any value as a consumer or as another realtor professional, I wanted to just share with you, number one, the market as it is today. The market as it is today is as it has been over the last 2 or 3 years. I keep using this analogy or this word. It's just strange. It's just strange. So, is the market slower than it has been in decades? Yes. Is pending home sales lower than it has been in decades? Yes. Existing homes, especially new construction, still kind of flying off the shelf, but less of it being built right now. This is as of August of 2024. And so lower inventory, still an issue after a couple of years of low inventory, really since just prior to or right up to the pandemic a couple of years ago. And so, or several years ago, it's been a long time now, actually. What is it? 2024. The pandemic was in 2020, shutdown wise. So here we are 4 years later, still feeling the squeeze of low inventory and now still elevated mortgage rates compared to prior to the pandemic. Now, I will say this, mortgage rates have been a deterrent for sellers who are locked into really low interest rates, which makes sense if you're paying 2.5% on a mortgage and you may or may not have to sell your home. But if you do sell it and you have to buy another home, you're going to end up with a rate of 6.5 to 7.5, sometimes 8.5%. So you're not going to trade down from a 2.5% interest rate to a 7.5 or 8.5% interest rate. Totally makes sense. So that's why inventory continues to be pretty low. Sellers are sitting on the sidelines because they're locked into these beautiful rates, practically free money with the tax advantages of owning a home and some interest tax advantages. So no sense unless they have to move to actually sell and move. Now, sometimes people just need a bigger house or need to really downsize, or they're downsizing to maybe a retirement community, or they have to move for a job or move for family. So there are always people who are going to sell regardless of interest rates because they have to, and they need to move on with their lives. And I think here in 2024, we're finally coming to a precipice when I think moving on past this election year, which is my number 2 point for market conditions, moving past the election year to 2025, regardless of political affiliation or who wins the presidency in the Senate and the House, life will move on. January will be another year. And I think things will open up in 2025 for a number of reasons. So we talked about the market being a little bit slow due to low inventory because of the interest rate situation. It's also very not very robust because it's an election year. And historically speaking, in an election year, housing market slows down a little bit. People stop making big decisions due to uncertainty in the election. Now also we have uncertainty because of the economy. Inflation has been going down, which is a good thing. That doesn't mean prices go back to where they were a year or two ago. That just means the elevation of prices has slowed or stalled. And so if bread is 30% higher than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, bread's still 30% higher than it was 2 or 3 years ago. It just isn't going up in price as quickly as it did over the last couple of years. So inflation as it continues will tamp down or continue to tamp down, hopefully, and not inflate prices consistently. But the prices that have already been inflated most likely will stay inflated. It's a new reality. That's what happens every time there's inflation. Very rarely do prices, other than for gas, energy type stuff, very rarely do product prices come back down to where they were before inflationary pressures hit. So another reason the market is a little bit tame right now. That said, houses are still moving. We're still, as realtors, we're still making a living. We're closing on transactions for happy clients, sellers, and buyers. And so, to that end, I'm excited to say that if you need to sell or buy, call your realtor. They're there to help you and advise you, and we would love to do business with you. So, moving beyond that, we mentioned the election. The election will be over in November. The swearing in of our new president will be in January, no matter what, God willing. And so beyond that, I truly, and I have said this for 3 years now, 3 years, I feel like we've been in a melees of some sorts for 3 years from a real estate perspective. And I'm talking to consumers and I'm talking to people that are professionals in the industry. I think 2025 and 2026 will be banner years in real estate from a sales perspective, if you're a professional, and from a consumer perspective. Will prices be lower? I don't think so. We're still in a supply and demand constrained type of market, meaning there's more demand still from buyers to buy than there are houses to buy. There's more buyers than sellers, more buyers than houses to buy that are good houses. Now, there are houses that are sitting on the market longer, so inventory has actually been ticking up a little bit, but it's not necessarily because new inventory is coming on the market. It's more because inventory is sitting longer because buyers are a little more trepid to buy right now because of the reasons I just mentioned before, for another number of other reasons. The economy is slowing, which will hopefully precipitate lower interest rates. So, it's hard to find that perfect balance of a booming economy and low interest rates. We did have that some over the last decade and a half, which is why we got that. We're kind of where we are today. I think we really had our cake and we were eating it too over the last 15 years, for the most part, before 3 years ago. And now it's kind of coming back to bite us a little bit. You can't usually have low rates and a booming economy. It's usually rates are lower when an economy is struggling a little bit. And so I think that's what's going to happen. I think the economy is going to continue to be a little bit meleeed, but I think that that'll cause rates to come down. I think that'll help mortgage needers, people who need lending, need mortgages, both investors and consumers and any of us who borrow money. I also think that we need to keep an eye on, and again, if you look at my videos from 2-3 years ago, the key thing I've always looked at and will continue to look at is the jobs numbers. So jobs are key in any economy because if you have a job and you feel secure in your job, you're going to spend money. You're going to buy a house. You're going to buy a car. You're going to upgrade here. You're going to upgrade there. You're going to go on Amazon. You're going to buy what you need. And you're going to spend the money you want to spend on things you want and need. If job numbers get depressed, and they are trending down right now on new jobs, that's why the economy feels like it's getting a little more sluggish. You're hearing about more layoffs. You're hearing about people who are having a harder time finding jobs who don't have jobs. And then sometimes having to find jobs that pay way less than they were making before. And so, unlike post-pandemic boom, where if you wanted a job, you could find a job and probably get a job, quit 2 days later and go to another job and make a lot more money. Those days are kind of coming to an end or well over. And so that job situation is going to be key ongoing to how people feel from a consumer perspective about spending money, about buying and selling homes or anything else, cars, even whether you shop at maybe a Harris Teeter or Publix, or maybe you just go to the Walmart and spend a little less on your groceries. So I think that's happening now. I think that's starting to happen. We're going to see more of that over the next 4, 5, 6 months. And then after the election, after the new year starts and the inauguration is over, we'll see how things play out. But I do feel like things will loosen up in the real estate industry. I do feel like as professionals, we will have more need from consumers to call us to help them list and sell property, and from buyers who need representation and help through the huge transaction of purchasing a home, whether it's your first time buying a home or you've already bought 10 homes in your life. Having an advisor in your corner, that person sitting beside you at the table who is experienced in negotiation, experienced in what to look for in the pitfalls and highlights of transactions is so important, and that's what we're here to help you through if you're a buyer or a seller. So I'm going to end it there. I think that gives you a pretty good snapshot that the market is what it is. I think 2025 and 2026 will be a great time to sell and buy a house. Does that mean home prices will be lower? No. I do believe interest rates will be lower, which will help things loosen up and move a little bit better. But I also feel like people have been sitting on the sidelines for 2 or 3 years, and that's going to break loose. I really feel like that's going to break loose post-election, post-New Year's in 2025. We'll just have to wait and see. But until then, I'll talk to you later.